What is happening, everyone? Welcome back to another Elden Ring guide. Today I'll be showing you how I killed Malenia, the Blade of Miquella, one of the hardest bosses in the game just due to the way her mechanics are set up. But before we delve into that, I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone that has shown support recently. So we've got a lot of new subs that have joined the channel. So some new subscribers that we have as of recent are shout out to Clinic Dons, shout out to Stark, shout out to Jacob, and also shout out to Mr. Paul. Now we're going to hop into this guide on how to kill this boss. So every time this boss hits you, she will gain some health back. Thanks from software. Great. So a few things that will help you on this journey are a raw meat dumpling. And another item is a warming stone, I believe it's called. So the reason why you want to put the raw meat dumpling into your equipment section is you will also require Mimic Tier Ashes. Upgrade that summons to the highest you can. I had it plus 10. So the Mimic Tier can heal itself once, right? With a flask, and then after that I don't think it can heal itself with flasks anymore. But it can consume the raw meat dumpling if necessary. It will restore its HP and it will not poison it because it's a summons. It can't get poison or any poison build up. The warming stone, you can put that into your equipment and you can use that to heal the mimic summons if it's really low on health and it's in your close vicinity. It'll consume FP, but it will keep your mimic tier alive. So what I did anyways was I had the cold Uji Katana with the Hoarfrost Stomp on it. So basically what that will allow us to do is do huge amounts of frost damage to Malenia, as well as blood loss build up. That's the two things she seems to be very prone to. I think I'm level 139 in this video, and now with this method it didn't work first time. She hit me there. She's so strong, like she chunked so much of my health there. It took me about 10 or 15 goes to try and get this to work, because basically what you want to do with the Hoarfrost Stomp is stun lock her. So as you can see, my mimic tier is hitting Malenia with the katana, so that's causing bleed damage, and I'm also doing frost build up on her with the frost stomp. So basically just want to keep spamming that. Now with the frost stomp, the way it works is when you press L2 to stomp, there's like a second or second and a half delay on it actually hitting her, because it goes under the floor and then up and it cracks, as you can see the animation there. So make sure you're not spamming it too heavily. She hits me a good few times here. If she goes up into the air like that and hovers for a second, stay away from that flurry. Holy shit, that thing is strong. If you get hit by that once, you're more than likely going to die if you don't roll up and then back to the right. That's usually the best way to avoid it. As you can see, I'm missing her here with the stomps because I'm not timing it. Basically what you want to try and do is let the mimic hit her first, so she kind of gets stunned for a second, and then start spamming the crap out of the stomp. So with that, she'll dive bomb kind of into a flower onto the floor there, sorry. The best way to dodge that is run directly underneath her, and just as she disappears from your camera, roll away and then roll away again. Because if you stay within the close vicinity of that flower, you'll get scarlet rot damage, and it'll build up pretty quickly within maybe 3 seconds or so to full on scarlet rot. So phase two is hard. I actually got cheesed by Malenia herself, because when I killed her first, I thought she only had one phase. I didn't realize she was the goddess of rot. So when I killed her in phase one the first time, I was like, yes! And I was using my sword of Night and Flame, which I got close to killing her with multiple times, but it just wasn't enough. I'd either run out of FP, or I wasn't doing damage, or I wasn't able to do damage fast enough, or my mimic tier would die off. It's actually funny how this boss battle ends. I don't kill her, my mimic tier does. And I thought that she was going to kill me. She does the dive bomb again, like that, right? Exactly like that. And you can see, I don't think there's any way to avoid that scarlet rot, little bit of scarlet rot damage there, but as long as you don't linger around, you should be fine. But as you can see there, the Mimic tier just went ballistic and didn't give no fucks about the Scarlet Rot and just went in like crazy and chopped her head off. That is the best way I could find to kill her. Now, what I'm also going to do in this video is show you how to activate her Great Rune and just talk a little bit more about this boss fight. Now, where to activate her Great Rune. So I just popped into my inventory here. I'm just doing this commentary kind of post-boss fight. As you can see, it's not activated. But where I am right now is the capital, and there is the name of the site of grace in which I'm at. So just basically, just follow me on screen. But one thing, while my character is walking to the isolated divine tower, one thing I want to say is I did not come up with the strategy myself. I seen this strategy on YouTube. There's loads of different variants with people who are using kind of dual katanas. So they're using crazy kind of dexterity builds with lots of blood loss. So blood loss build up is a very strong approach if you have a dexterity kind of build. My dexterity is not high enough to make that kind of strategy viable. So this was the best one for my character because I didn't really want to respec. If you feel like you have to respec for this fight in order to copy my strategy, there's lots of other strategies out there. So if you feel like you don't want to respec, you don't have to. But this was just what I found was best for me and my character build up, because my main setup is Mimic Tier Ashes and the Sword of Night and Flame. It's a bit cheesy, but this is my first Souls game, so I feel like I needed a bit of a cheesy weapon. So I didn't come up with this strategy myself at all. But what I did add was I had a look through my inventory. I was like, what can I use? So the raw meat dumpling is great for the Mimic tier. I'm not actually sure if the Mimic tier used it in that fight. I'll look back on the footage and see if he popped it. And the warming stones are great as well. So if you do have a little bit of FP left over, or some to spare, or if your mind stat is very high, the warming stones will definitely keep your Mimic tier alive for a little bit longer, because the Mimic is there in order for a distraction to occur, so that you can just basically stomp the ground, stomp her face in with your frosty toes, and the Mimic tier, it can either copy you or it can start hitting her and cause blood loss. So back to the activation of the Great Rune here, you can just sneak past that giant and go into this teleporter. So just follow exactly where I went and go into this teleporter, and it will just warp you out into the middle of the ocean with the divine tower right there in front of you. As you can see, it just kind of plops you out here in the middle of the ocean like you're on Deadliest Catch there or something like that. But yeah, another thing I want to say, guys, is just a huge thank you for the support on the content on the channel. I used to post just other games like FIFA, bits of Returnal, things like that, and I was really enjoying Elden Ring. Whenever I come across a game that I really like, I'll pop it up on the channel, and you know, there's a few videos there from Elden Ring now that have thousands of views and stuff, but it's not all about views. It's kind of about the process of enjoying creating content and stuff like that. I don't have a set upload schedule or anything like that. I'll just make videos and guides to try help people. So it's great that the views are kind of a secondary, you know, thing to that kind of comes with that. But if you found this video helpful, drop a like, drop a comment. If you are stuck, I try my best to reply to all comments and give everyone a little bit of a hand. I'll check the comments kind of just periodically, you know, if I'm on a lunch break at work or something, or just looking to pass time. I'll pop on the YouTube Studio app and try and help anyone that is stuck. But yeah, I'm going to shut up talking, because we're right here at the activation of the Great Rune. This is something I can't wait to actually use, because then anyone that hits me, if I hit them back, I'm going to get more health. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and make sure you stay tuned, because I've got more guides coming out. Adios.